Welcome to the Review That Dripped Blood. I'm your host, Jeffrey Woods, and today we'll be taking a closer look at the 1994 slasher Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. Originally released in 1995 as The Return of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the film was re-edited, retitled, and re-released in 1997. It was written and directed by Kim Henkel and stars Renée Zellweger, Matthew McConaughey, and Robert Jacks. The film follows a group of prom-going teenagers who, as a result of teenage drama, ditch the dance early and find themselves accidentally taking a fatal detour into a remote wooded area where they find themselves stranded after having an accidental head-on collision with another motorist. The teens decide their best bet is to split up, with one staying behind with the other automobile's unconscious driver, while the others go to seek help. However, the only thing they end up finding is an old farmhouse belonging to Leatherface and his psychotic family. I will be giving some spoilers in this review because, especially in this particular instance, it'd be difficult to review this movie otherwise. Also, with big franchises like this, most people have already seen these movies anyway. So, what do I like about this movie? I want to start by giving major props to Kim Henkel, who put this film together on a budget that was barely double that of the original, which came out 20 years earlier. The story and cinematography in this film are very well done, but that shouldn't be a surprise considering Henkel had a large part to play in the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm a big fan of all the characters in this film. All of the actors did a fantastic job, in particular Robert Jacks, who plays Leatherface. In the original movie, Leather is a large chainsaw-wielding maniac who wears the faces of his victims, and it's hinted that he takes on different personalities depending on which mask he's wearing, his primary persona being that of the protector. He dons this mask while the others are out, and he's left to look over the family homestead. Then there's the old lady persona, who appears to be more domestic, as she's seen helping out in the kitchen, and finally there's the pretty lady who joins the family at dinner. They expand upon this concept in The Next Generation. I was blown away by Robert Jacks' ability to bring the character and his multiple personalities to life. For example, I'm particularly fond of the scene where Leather, in his pretty lady persona, is preparing for dinner in front of a large vanity mirror. The scene not only tells you everything that you need to know about this vain personality, but it also mirrors an earlier scene where we see Jenny, Renée Zellweger's character, getting ready for prom. Speaking of Renée Zellweger, she absolutely shines in the role of Jenny, who initially comes off as being timid and mousy, but that isn't the case at all. She gradually proves herself to be the strongest character in this movie. As you gradually learn throughout the film, she comes from an abusive family, and all of her actions from the very beginning are out of self-preservation. Renée does a fantastic job depicting this transformation of someone who's seemingly afraid to even come out of her shell to make a complete sentence to someone brave enough to stand up to even the most vile of the Slaughter family. And I would be remiss not to mention Tonie Perensky's performance as Darla, Matthew McConaughey's on-screen girlfriend, who proves to be as psychotic as the rest of the family. Similar to the cook in the original film, Darla isn't as hands-on as the others. Her main role is to direct unsuspecting victims to their untimely doom. That said, she proves to be one of the best characters in the film. She has some of the most memorable comedic scenes, like when Darla has Jenny tied up in the trunk of her car, but decides to take the time to not only stop and pick up pizza, but to also flirt with a police officer before heading home. Now, what didn't I like about this movie? First, and this is definitely nitpicking, but I don't understand why they decided to change the family's name from Sawyer to Slaughter. While Sawyer is a clever pun, Slaughter is a little too on the nose and just makes me think of the professional wrestler Sergeant Slaughter. Second, Matthew McConaughey's character, Vilmer, is undoubtedly the most frightening member of the Slaughter family because he doesn't scream psychopath. He just looks like an everyday tow truck driver. But you quickly learn that he's the brains behind the whole operation and clearly gets a twisted satisfaction out of torturing and killing people. My biggest problem with him, however, is his mechanical leg. Nobody explains why he has his contraption attached to his leg, where it came from, or why it can smash someone's head in like a watermelon. Now, for my biggest problem with this movie, it's the whole subplot that has the Slaughter family working for a secret organization aimed at choosing a particular subject like Jenny, putting them through hell as a means of giving them, and I quote, a spiritual experience. It makes no sense. It adds nothing to the story, and it would have been a better movie without it. Overall, Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation is an excellent addition to the franchise. As I said earlier, I love the cinematography. The stunt work is impressive, especially considering a lot of the actors had to do their own stunts, and I love the characters and storyline, which is why I'm rating this movie 9 pizzas out of 10. If you enjoyed this review, please give this video a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to the review that dripped blood.